The theory we had for our project is the Bandura social learning theory. Before we get to the details of it, let's start with the man who created it. Albert Bandura was born in December of 1985 in Bandura, Alberta, Canada. He would get his education at the University of British Columbia, receiving a degree in psychology in 1949. He would then head to the University of Iowa to work on graduate studies, receiving his MA and PhD in 1951 and 1952 respectively. From there, he would come to realize that the University of Iowa's psychology department is one of the best in North America. With this quote, the Iowa psychology department was Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. It was indeed an intellectually lively, demanding place where major theoretical issue pursued with a passion. It was refreshingly free of color eclecticism. Learning would be exceedingly laborious, not to mention hazardous. People had to rely solely on the effects of their own acts to inform them what to do. Fortunately, most human behavior learned observantly through modeling from other by. Bandura would then join the Stanford University Psychology Department in 1953, where he would begin to develop the idea for the social learning theory.
Social learning theory, what is it exactly? The concept developed by Bandura focused on the idea that one can learn through observation or direct observation without reinforcement, or the idea that one can learn in a social context. The theory itself relies on a four-step modeling process. The four steps include attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation. And as shown in this little comic here, the idea that's kind of into play. Bandura will ask you to watch the video of how to knock before you can actually just go about doing it. Each of the steps follow guideline orders. The first step, attention, is a model you must learn to pay attention, such as a person trying to get your attention to look at her. And that kind of a way, you have to learn to pay attention. If anything distracts, pulls the attention away from the model, it can have negative effects on the observational learning itself, which is what comes to play for the focus part of that. And if the model is interesting, you are more likely to actually dedicate your full attention focus to learning it. The second step, retention, contains two substeps. That first step is remembering to pay attention to, including any kind of symbolic coding, mental images, motor rehearsal, cognitive organization. You kind of fall into place about trying to remember what you learned from somebody, what you learned from the presentation that you were given. The step is reproduction, which includes substeps as well. The first of the two substeps are once you have retained the information and paid attention to it, you put what you learned to the test, such as the girl imitating the monkey. And the same goes for this part with the boy saying how his parents were trying to get attacked by him, but he was the one acting like a chimp, vice versa. And then whether it is a behavior or skill to improve, learned behavior can advance their skills, such as this girl learning to brush her teeth along with her father. That goes into the form of reproduction. Lastly, the final step is going to be motivation. This step is for the person eventually to get that motivation to intimidate behavior that has been modeled for them, in a sense. Because that is the most crucial part, because the final step is for them to actually be able to do it. And this is also reinforcement and punishment kind of play. So say you see these kids drawing on the wall. More than likely you would punish them because drawing on the wall is bad. And then from there, they would learn in a reinforcement that because they got punished last time, they'll instead draw on a piece of paper like this here. Of course, there are other things that do go into with this, such as a learning environment, the behavior of the person itself, initiated person, model versus nature versus nurture, and a bunch of other things that fall. And here is all of the sub-steps that go into it, showing the whole thing, such as reinforcement, non-reinforcement, and whatnot. And then here are some comics and pictures that show the idea on a more basic scale, such as his father asking his daughter to get home early. The younger daughter is intimidating the older daughter in the way that she's doing. In a way that's like a direct observation, because she's doing exactly what her older sister or adult is doing. Another example would be something like this. The kids imitating the pro wrestlers. They were paying attention to what they were doing, they remembered what the wrestlers were doing, they then reproduced picture in a way, because then he had that motivation to reproduce. Although this is more of a fighting game and actually them trying to do it. And then in the next short video clip, the man in the middle is going to follow what everyone else is doing by turning around and going and turning around that way. The same goes for this idea. The kid is copying the adult's face on the right. He's remembering what he paid attention to in order to reproduce it. Same goes for this kid shaving his face. He's remembering what he paid attention to reproduce it because he has the motivation that he learned from dad or from someone older. And then in this clip, a baby is attempting to dance to Beyonce's Sing Ladies, in which that also follows the steps of paying attention, remembering, and whatnot. And then other things like this, the kids doing the model behavior pretending like they're adults. That also goes into the operational learning part of it, such as this daughter on her cell phone, this kid ironing along with his dad. She paid attention, she produced, she had the motivation, and she remembered what she all had to do. And then, of course, this also works in the sense of like teaching someone in class, like in this karate lesson. This child is doing what the adult is doing. He remembered what he had attention to and he's producing because of the motivation to be a good karate person. And the same goes for the dance studios. The teachers or the models are presenting the kid with some sort of a dance or some sort of move. So therefore, the kids have to remember what they paid attention to, or they pay attention first, then they have to remember what they paid attention to, then they have to reproduce it, then they have to have the motivation in order to reproduce that dance or that move that the ballet teacher was showing them. And then in this comic, you can see here that the kid is being a little impolite as far as asking to use the bathroom, and she's pointing out you can learn from Jerry by doing what he's doing and raising his hand. The same also goes to this comic, where it's saying if you draw nice borders like this, you can paint panels for your comic, and then leave spaces in between them, so at least you have a two-panel comic that will follow again a board. And then here's a short from Big Daddy. And in that clip, you can see he followed the attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation steps in that social learn theory, because he had to pay attention to what Adam Sandler was doing in Big Daddy by throwing the can on the ground because of the price of stocks went down. He then
One of the most famous experiments in social learning theory was the Bobo doll experiment. Conducted in 1961, the Bobo doll experiment consisted of a few different groups in the process. The first group observed adults aggressively playing with the Bobo doll. The second group observed adults playing with the doll, but non-aggressively. And the final group had no exposure to the model before. Essentially, what happened, the children essentially did what they saw. So in this case, the children in the aggressive group acted aggressively, even more so than what they had originally seen. It was also observed that boys were more aggressive than girls in this model. Bandura also, however, saw it in a different light, because with this experiment there were no consequences. So he ran the experiment again, and this time he had the children being punished based on how they acted towards the clown. And it was found that some children reacted differently, with each learning what the punishment was and altering how they acted after. This experiment in the long run, however, did help cement his learning theory, his four-step model process of attention, retention, production, and motivation. To conclude, this experiment in theory has made Bandura famous and cemented itself in pop culture, and has been conducted in various non-violent ways, including using the social learning theory to conduct self-attendance at work and training supervisors, both which help the confidence of the supervisors and the employees will show up on time more often. Overall, Bandura has changed the way we use psychology to study how people develop and learn what they see. Without him, we may never have reached this concept, as it helps learners who need to see what they have to do. It also helps teachers who attempt to give presentations or demonstrations to kids how they can model from and researchers are wondering why children act the way they do so much more. This theory shows that what people see may very well be how they act.